This is An Obscenity for the Appropriate, which is an analysis conducted and produced by Jeremy Godoy. Viewer discretion is advised as the analysis uses taboo language to talk about taboo language. If you are offended by words, please cover your ears and promptly wait for the end of the presentation. If you wish to continue listening, I only ask that you keep calm, yabish. Taboo language, for poetry in particular, is a strong element which creates a sense of comfortability with the readers while capturing the emotion of a character's thoughts. Without using obscenities, the shock factor is low, or the consistency to intrigue the audience is low, and the author will find a different way to create eye-opening value to their work. A character in Philip Larkin's High Windows claims to be in paradise when they see some kids and thinks, well, he's fucking her and she's taking pills or wearing a diaphragm. This sentence is odd compared to traditional poetry, as cursing is not so readily used. However, Larkin's choice to casually use an obscenity achieves an objective to capture the natural thought of his character while enhancing interest in his sentence. Rebecca Chory, who was a professor at Frostburg University, conducted a study on the emotional responses of students when a professor would use a curse word. These studies concluded that students either felt no emotion towards the word itself or experienced a positive reaction toward the professor who spoke the obscene word. The study supports Philip Larkin's intent of using taboo language to intrigue readers while keeping the view of his character neutral. In the sentence, if Philip Larkin were to write, "They are having sex and she is using the pill," the mental image of the environment is no longer intense, and the outlook of the two kids also changes into a more innocent type of relationship. The use of fucking and comparing the scene to a paradise keeps the tone of his poem intense and leaves the character in a state of bliss. Philip Larkin isn't the only person who supports the use of taboo language. Kim Adonisio writes a vulgar poem properly titled Fuck, which in itself is an example of the message she intends to send. Kim Adonisio starts by acknowledging people who will tell you that using the word fuck in a poem indicates a serious lapse of taste, but promptly continues to claim, "I don't give a fuck what you think of my poem." Kim's main character's argument is how people naturally revert to cursing when they experience pain, yet demonize cursing and try to portray a false innocence when they witness somebody else using obscenities. Her character exclaims curse words are the only words which can precisely interpret the description of what is felt. This perspective is also observed by Jill McCorkle, who writes a short story titled Cuss Time. Here, she writes of her decision to allow her child to curse every day for a set amount of time. She claims that allowing her child to use obscenities is allowing her child to freely express himself, and in doing so, he feels comfortable with capturing the true emotion of a character in a short story he made. Jill's thought process confirms how obscenities are a natural word which comes to mind, and using the taboo language encapsulates the intensity of a character's emotion. Kim Adonisio's poem gives an intense vibe, and taboo language is what allows her to intensely deliver her message. Adonisio writes, "Fuck me, I say to those whose lovely body I want close, and as we fuck, I know it's holy." The vulgarity and obscene personality of Kim's poem intensifies the message and does not leave the reader in suspense of the message that is being sent. I'm going to do what I can to not breathe all over the mic on this one, so bear with me. Using obscenities in poetry creates a comfort to who is reading the poem, and realizing the character is not a perfect personality. He or she gets stressed, gets confused, and has outbursts of anger. In Emily Dickinson to the Rescue by Michael Dickman, the main character is fantasizing of a woman. Although the main character wonders if she ever fucked anybody or ever fucked herself, the taboo language in the character's mind is natural to people's thinking. Seeing someone who is attractive does not bring images of them running in some cliche field of daisies and roses. They are naturally in a sexual setting. The blunt description of this initial feeling creates a comforting bond with certain types of readers who can now judge the character as natural experiences. While the poetry has a captivating, eye-opening effect, readers are drawn to this mental image of the woman and the implied masturbation that the character is describing. He describes the woman whom he is thinking of as God's poet, who is having a moment of solace from this world which is full of negative happenings. He is stating the world is imperfect, and with its imperfections we are introduced to an imperfect woman who is pleasuring herself with the world existing around her. The vulgarity of describing this woman, mixed with innocent descriptive words, would not be so easily achieved without the use of taboo language. The woman who is fucking herself in this poem would not be the same character as a woman who is touching herself, or even described as masturbating rather than her legs pumping her heart out. The point is, cursing and other forms of taboo language each have their different effects on different readers, but all have one thing in common. The author utilizes the cursing to enhance their message in some form, whether it's Larkin who uses taboo language and normality, Adonisio who is sending a blunt, direct message to society, or Dickman who is describing affection. Each author uses taboo language in their own respect to capture the intention and emotions of those who read their works.